Hey guys. I don't know if this is kind of a weird shot, but I'm on vacation. I'm doing my best. Oh, let me pull up your guys' questions. Hold on. I should have pulled these up before I went live. I hope you guys are doing well. I'm on vacation with my family right now. We're staying at the Springs, which you guys don't live in Florida. Man, you're missing out because the Springs here are awesome. So the house we're staying at is like 6 blocks from this really large natural springs, which means the water is cold and clear and beautiful, which in Florida is like, oh my gosh, it's indescribable. But it's like really, really, really clear, crystal clear water, which is really awesome. I'm just trying to pull up your guys' questions. I haven't looked at them. I just ask people to ask me questions. So we'll see. Holy cow. No. Okay. Okay, 18. I thought for a second there was like 30 something comments. I was like, oh my God. You guys have a lot of questions for me. Okay. There's 18 of these though, so I don't know that I'll be able to get through all of these, but I'm going to try. And don't give me grief about being on Facebook Live on vacation because I'm with my family, but I live in the same town as my family, so I see them all the time. So it's okay for me to work a little bit on vacation. And we're here for a whole week, so don't give me any trouble, internet. Okay. Let's see. Rebecca says she looks like she's doing good after FinCon, which I've never been to, but I would love to go someday. Let me know how it was. Great with making content, but terrible with putting it and myself out there. Girl, that's some fear stuff you gotta dig into. That's like some worthiness fear stuff, right? Which we talk about all the time. I'll let you dig into that on your own. But this stuff is like, if you're making great content, but you're scared of putting it out, it's like, there's something in you that doesn't believe that you're good enough, that your content is good enough, that what you have to say is good enough, right? It's like, if you believed that you were inherently valuable, that the things that you said were helpful, were serving, would you keep them to yourself? Like, of course not. Okay, let's see. Staying focused / executing on a goal and getting your pins seen. So frustrated with Pinterest. How long have you... Well, I wish I could like ask you questions, but I can't. I'm wondering how long you've been on Pinterest. I'm in the home decor niche, which is very competitive, but I'm keeping my blinders on, doing my things. It's just tough to stay motivated when it seems like only 5% of the pins are saved by people. Yeah, I mean, there's a couple things about this. First of all, like, you're doing good. Like, I see, like, you're like, it's a tough niche, but I'm trying to stay positive. But you need to change that, like, whole story, because if you are telling yourself or you're believing this idea that my niche is oversaturated, there's so many people, it's a really difficult niche, it's really hard. If you're telling yourself those stories, what happens, and this is why people quit, right? This is like my whole goal, I feel like, with this group is to try to keep you guys from quitting. Like, because most people quit and that's why they don't find success. Like, straight up, it's like, that's the reason. There's not like there's any magic blog here. The reason most people don't make it is because they quit, right? If you keep going, you'll find success, and I really believe that. But like, something hard will happen in your business at some point. Things are going to get hard. Your personal life will get hard. Things will get more difficult. And if you're already telling yourself stories that my niche is hard, the market's oversaturated, people love to tell this story about how, you know, blogging is dead and it was so much better in the 90s and now it's so hard. It's like, hard compared to what? Hard compared to what, right? I have a whole podcast about this. It's called Blogging's Not Hard. And it's a little bit of like a tough love, like, pep talk. And I'm going to give you the tough love pep talk right now. But if you need the whole thing, it's on the podcast. You know, like, hard is a perception. Oversaturated. My niche is hard. Things are difficult. It's a hard niche to be in. It's all a perception, right? And I talk about this all the time, but right now we have more opportunity than anyone ever had before. You as a woman business owner have more opportunity than most women like in this country before us could ever even dreamed about, right? I just read, like, in the 1970s, women weren't even allowed to open a bank account without their husband or their father. You had to bring a man with you to the bank. And like, most women didn't have bank accounts, right? And that's not that long ago. So, or not the 1970s, like the 1930s or something. The 1970s, you couldn't get credit. Like, until the 1970s, you couldn't get credit without a man co-signing for you. So, not to like get on my like feminist soapbox, but like, that's hard, right? Like, hard is not having a shot, right? That's what I always think. I'm like, what is hard? Like, hard is a perception. My niche is hard, my niche is easy. I'm in a difficult niche or an easy niche is all your perception, right? But in my mind, I'm like, hard, like, it's not hard, it's an opportunity. Is it hard or is it an opportunity, right? Is it difficult to get into your niche, or do you actually have more opportunity than almost every other woman like in this country, like unimaginable opportunity compared to every woman in this country up to 100 years ago, like couldn't even imagine, right? So it's like, is it hard or is it an opportunity? Like, it's your perception. It's just your perception. There's no truth in that. There's no inherent truth or meaning in that, right? And, you know, your perception is everything. I'm just going through this with this like breakup situation I'm going through right now, but I was telling myself all these stories because he broke up with me over text message. So my brain is like, he never loved you and everything you had was a lie. He never even cared about you. And it's like, him breaking up with me over text message or not breaking up over me, like with text message, doesn't inherently mean anything. There's no meaning in that. It doesn't mean anything besides the meaning we as human beings give it, right? So you get to decide your reality, like what's true for you. So, you know, you have more opportunity than most people have ever had in their entire life, which I really believe that is true. I believe to start businesses right now is the best time there's ever been. There's so much opportunity for everyone. Or it's oversaturated, it's hard to get in my market, blah, 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 blah. Both of those things are true. But the thing is like telling yourself the story that is hard and it's difficult is going to make your climb a lot more sucky. And it's already hard. You guys, like starting a business and growing something online out of nothing and teaching yourself these skills and going through this process is already hard. So if you're telling yourself crappy stories on top of it, it just makes it more difficult. And then it's like, you know, one thing happens in your business, you're already telling yourself crappy stories and telling yourself it's hard, and then it actually does get hard, and then the next thing you know, you quit, right? And that's why it's not like I'm trying to be a jerk and like give you tough love, but I really think you've got to change your mindset around that. And I can see you're trying, and like I can see you getting there, right? You're like, well, it's saturated, you know, but blah blah blah. It's like, is it oversaturated, or is this actually the best opportunity like for you to make money as an interior designer, right? Because before the internet, like how were people making money with design? It's probably a lot less people and a lot less ways you can make money. Sorry, my family's dogs are barking. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but sorry about it. Can't do anything about it. But don't tell these stories about my niche is hard, the market's oversaturated, blogging was so much better in the 90s, it's so hard now, it was so much better. God, like every time there's an algorithm change, right, everyone's like, oh, it's so much more difficult now. It's like, hard compared to what? Hard compared to what? Your market is oversaturated compared to what? What does that even mean? You know what I mean? It's like, there's no truth in that. And it's not, and the reason I'm like so harsh about telling you guys that is because it's not helpful. Not a helpful story. I forgot what your actual question was. Let me see. Staying motivated. Only 5% of the pins are being saved by people. Here's the other thing about Pinterest, you guys. People love to complain about Pinterest. It is free traffic. It's free traffic. The fact that you can like build an account and get free traffic is bananas. And people 10 years from now are not going to be getting free traffic to their website. They will not. Trust me. This is the opportunity, right? The window is going to be closing. You're in the golden age right now, right? And people are missing it. The fact that you can get free traffic to a blog is bananas. And if you don't want to do the work, pay for traffic, pay for ads. But if you want free traffic, you have to put the time in. So there's like two ways you can get traffic. You can put the time in and get free traffic and be freaking patient and persistent and stubborn and not give up and get free traffic. Or you can pay for it and you can pay for ads. Those are your options, right? So it's like, I don't know, are you going to complain about free traffic? I have a hard time like with that, right? I have a hard time with that. It's like Pinterest is giving you like free traffic, and it's way easier to rank on there than Google. It just is. Like, you know, for most things or most people. I don't know SEO. I'm not that good at SEO, so I guess maybe that's why. If you're good at SEO, maybe it's easier for you to rank on Google. But I just don't have the patience for it to learn all the tech stuff around it, and almost all of my traffic comes from Pinterest for free. I have an email list of like, I don't know, 27,000 people or something that I got for free. All free traffic. I've never paid for traffic at all. But the reason I get that is because I was stubborn as heck, I was consistent as heck, and I worked my butt off. Like, that's why. And now my assistant does it, but you can ask her. Like, the amount of time and effort I still spend on my Pinterest account is pretty bananas. Like, it's a lot of time. It's way more time, I think, than most people realize, right? We launch and put out a new pin every single day. She's making, and I used to do it until like 2 months ago, right? Till I started paying her to do it. But, you know, we are creating new content, but on top of the new content that goes out, we go back to the old post, make a new graphic, and schedule it to launch. We use Jennifer's Pinterest Launch Playbook, which if you don't have that book, you need to buy it. I won't go on that soapbox, but you guys know that I love her and I love that book, and it's $27. Please. I've told her so many times, I'm like, you should be charging like 5 times because the content is really good. But, you know, so we're designing and launching a new pin that goes out every single day on my account. 365 days a year. New pin every day. On top of the new content. So a lot of times if I write a new post, that's another new pin that goes out, right? And you guys know when I'm in my flow, I'm making 5 posts a week sometimes, right? So on top of the other pins. So, you know, that's a lot of time and work and effort. But to me, I'm like, the time trade-off is worth the traffic. If the time payoff isn't worth the traffic, you gotta pay for it. You got to pay the money. And if you don't have the money, you got to pay with your time. Like, that's just the reality of it. You're not going to get traffic for free with like no effort. That's crazy. You've just got to be, the fact that you can get free traffic at all is insane. It's such an amazing opportunity, and it is never going to happen again. I can guarantee you, like, it will change. It will be pay to play. You will not be getting free traffic to your websites forever. So are you going to take advantage of it or not, right? And I don't know the answer to that. I mean, and if it's not worth your time, it's not worth your time. Pay the money for the traffic. And set up, you know, if you get a lot of my friends I know right now are paying for traffic. They have really good tripwires that convert. You know, they're selling a $7 product. They know a certain percentage of people will buy the product. They know they can pay Pinterest, Facebook, Instagram to send this many people to the page. It's just math, right? And they're paying for their ads that way. So if you don't want to mess with Pinterest, mess with that and learn how to do that. People do that. People are able to, you know, set up tripwires and sell low-end products that convert high enough that they're able to pay for their ads for free. So you could get free traffic like that. But that's going to take time to set up and learn too. So I don't know. Like, where do you want to spend your time and your money, right? But you just got to be patient. And I understand, like, it can be frustrating. I feel like I'm kind of being a little bit of a jerk coming on here and being like, well, what do you want? But like, sometimes you kind of got to give yourself a little bit of tough love, where it's like, I mean, have you been launching a new pin every single day? Have you joined? I've joined, I don't know, 100 and something group boards. Have you joined 100 group boards? Have you launched a pin every day? Like, do you have 100 and something posts up? Like, I mean, I don't know. Are you trying that hard? I don't know the answer to that. Maybe you are, right? And I'm not saying like you're not putting in the effort, but it's also like, you got to have this mindset where it's like, it is hard. It just is hard. And like, I don't know. It's always going to be hard. And I think people also have this perception, or I had this perception too, like once I figured out how to make money, it would be easier. And it's not. It's like still hard for me too. I don't know what I'm doing all the time either. And I'm still going through the same kind of struggles you guys do of like, what's worth it? Where do I spend my time? I don't know, like the next step, right? I'm trying to build a 6-figure business. I've never built a 6-figure business before. Like, I don't know how to scale a business. Like, I don't know. I know how to pay my bills, right? I've taught myself how to be able to pay my bills. That's a pretty big skill. I feel really proud of that and really thankful and happy for that. But now I'm like, to get to the next level, you know, what got you here won't get you there, right? What got me to pay my bills is not going to get me to 6 figures. I've got to do different things. And like, I have to navigate that the same way you guys are navigating this. And so it never really gets easy. I don't know if this is a helpful pep talk. I feel like you guys understand what I'm saying. And I'm not trying to be a jerk. You guys know, like, I want you to succeed. But I have to tell you what I think, right? And that's the thing, is like, there's times where I want to come on here and be really understanding and be like, I know Pinterest is hard. I know it's so hard. But that's not really helpful, I don't think. And it doesn't change anything, right? And so if I can get you to think about the situation a little bit differently and be like, oh crap, like I am going to be able to get free traffic. Like, whoa, like that's a pretty amazing opportunity. If I can change your mindset that way and get you to think about it different, I think that's more helpful than like being empathetic. And I am empathetic. Like, I understand it's hard, but I just don't think that's helpful. So I hope you guys understand. I'm not trying to be mean to you. Okay, I'm working on being patient while I work hard for greater results. Girl, yeah, that's the name of the game, man. If you can be patient, that is the name of the game, isn't it? It just makes everything so much easier when you're patient, right? When I always talk about being certain and certain of the outcome, when you're certain of the outcome, you could afford to wait and wait without anxiety. That is the truth, right? Because, I mean, patience will get you everywhere. It just will. And even for me, like, when I look at where I want to go and where I am now, it can crush you. It's still, like, it just can. I'm like, I don't know how to do that. Like, I don't know how, I want to make a massive, massive impact and reach all these people. And I'm like, well, I don't know how to reach them. I don't know how I'm going to get there. And I just have to have faith and keep going that, well, my spiritual beliefs, right? I'll be divinely supported and guided. But even if you don't have spiritual beliefs, that if you keep chipping away, it will start to unfold and you will make progress, right? And a lot of times, you know, when I work with like new entrepreneurs or new bloggers and stuff, they don't give themselves credit. Like, look at how far you have come, like, in a few months, in a year, wherever, and really be able to stand in that. Because what happens is you start looking at the future, you're like, I have so far to go, it's like impossible. And that feels really awful, right? It feels really crappy. It feels a lot better to look back and be like, oh wow, like I did so much, right? So when you start feeling that of like shifting into the future and being like, I have so far to go, I'm never gonna get there, like, and you start feeling defeated, shift out of that and shift into like, wow, like I really learned a lot. Like, wow, I've really got this done and this done. I was just talking about this on my mental health. It's so funny that the mental health stuff I talk about, I feel like I always end up talking on here too about, because a lot of it's really relevant because of the mindset stuff. But I was just talking about like changing your thought pattern, right? And you have to tell your brain, I always say, tell your brain the truth. And your truth is like whatever feels good, makes you feel lighter, makes you feel joyful. You know it's your truth because it's aligned with your heart and your soul, which always feels good, right? That's your truth. And so when things come into your brain like, oh my God, I'm never going to get there, this is so hard, this is so difficult, and it feels heavy, that's not your truth. And that is your signal to tell your brain something else. And you need to tell your brain like, no, actually, that's not the truth. This is the truth. And your brain loves facts. So what I tell people to do is, I say like your favorite, Tony Robbins says your favorite flavor of suffering, right? So whatever the story is that you're clinging on to, that you like to tell, my content's not good enough, it's too hard, my niche is oversaturated, whatever the suffering flavor is that you like to subscribe to, you need to think of like 10 reasons why that's not true and write them down. And then when they start to come into your brain, you tell your brain, no, like that's not my truth. That feels heavy. And I know it's not my truth because it feels like crap. And I know it's not true because of this reason, and this reason, right? Because of this, this, and this. Does that make sense? So tell your brain with facts, because of this, because of this. I know I can, like when your brain's like, I'll never be able to do it, it's so hard, I'll never figure it out. Be like, actually, no, I know I'm smart and capable because I've done this, this, and this. And show your brain facts. Like, no, it's not true because of this. Like, and it's not true because, you know, it's not true because it's heavy, it makes me feel like crap, so I know it's not my truth, and I have evidence to back it up. Here's the facts, right? And you can just kind of reprogram that into your brain, and it's kind of this process of, like, constantly shifting those thoughts, like, kind of, like, hitting them away, right? It's just like, no, 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 no. And eventually, it will stop. It will stop, right? And it just is so important to me. The reason this is so important to me is I believe this is the reason most people don't make it and most women quit, is because those negative stories and thoughts are so pervasive and so real, and most people are not able to navigate them. And then once you're already doing something hard, right? I say that all the time. I'm like, this is hard, right? That's building this business from nothing and teaching yourself these skills is already hard. And it just takes one thing to make it gets more hard, and then you quit because you're telling yourself these terrible stories that already feels impossible and nothing's even going wrong. So then when something does go wrong, people quit. And that's like, I feel like the mindset piece is so much more important than people realize, and people don't talk about it basically at all in the blogging community, which drives me nuts, because I'm like, we have an epidemic of women that want to start businesses that are failing over and over, that are starting blogs and not making money, and starting websites and not making money, and giving up and quitting. We have an epidemic of people coming into this space, women specifically, that are failing. And there is so many reasons why, but I think a lot of it is this: people don't pay attention to this mindset piece. You guys need to take it really seriously, because it can keep you from having the life you want. If you have a crappy mindset and you don't work on it and you don't pay attention to it and you don't think it's important, that's the reason you will quit, because you will have a crappy mindset and it'll feel hard and it'll feel difficult and it will drain you and drain you and drain you, and then something will happen and you'll just give up. And then your dreams in your life that you want, everything's gone. You've given it all up, right? And it's like, you've got to just take it so seriously, because it can make or break you. And I really believe that. I really believe that's the reason most women don't make it in this space. So I don't know. I just want you guys to take it seriously, because I don't want you to quit. This is a downer. I'm sorry. I don't know. I'm like in a really serious mood, I guess. Okay, let me do like one or two more. I am battling a lot of fear. I nearly came unglued yesterday trying to start work on categories and subcategories. I've managed to put this off for months. Somehow I have to keep walking forward regardless of how scary it feels. Thanks for your pep talks. They are always so helpful. Oh, Pam, that's really sweet. I'm so happy. I hope I'm not like beating you guys down today. I'm not really sure what your question is, but you're on the right path, right? It is just a game of persistence. It's just a game of persistence, right? It's like, you just keep doing the things and doing the things and doing the things and doing the things. And it takes a relentless amount of persistence to find success in this space. Because the truth is, like, once you get your category set up, there's just going to be something else scary and hard to do. There just is, right? There's always a new level of scary and hard. It never really stops. I think it gets easier. Like, I feel more comfortable, like, taking risks and trying new things and learning new things. Like, I think it does get easier to do scary things, but like the fear never really goes away, if that makes sense. It's so interesting. I interviewed Ruth Sukup on my mental health podcast a while back when she was promoting her book. But before we interviewed, she told me how nervous she was about her book coming out and how she had all this anxiety because she was going on all these podcasts and she was like promoting her book, and you know, she had worked on it for so hard and for so long, and she was having all this fear come up about like people not liking the book or the book not being good enough. And it's so interesting because I look at her as like, she's like a real role model to me, right? And a real inspiration, and has inspired a lot of my work. And it's so interesting because I always think, I'm like, wow, like she has everything, right? She has it all figured out, and it must be like so much easier for her. But I could feel, talking to her, the real anxiety and real fear that she had, like, about her work and her stuff. And it really was eye-opening to me, just that it never goes away and it's all part of the work all the time, right? But I think that's another reason why this mindset stuff is so important, because if you can kind of get used to being uncomfortable and know that it's okay and you're safe, right? A lot of my affirmations right now, like with this breakup, it's like put me in this like really unstable, all these old fears come up. I feel like anytime you get like rejected, right, it's like, oh, like, you know, my brain is like kind of freaking out, and like a lot of anxiety and old things are just kind of coming back up, which is fine, right? It's like just another opportunity to work through things and to like go to the next level of my life. But I'm doing a lot of affirmations around like safety, right? It's safe for me to take risks. It's safe for me to try new things. It's safe for me to be rejected. It's safe for me to date people and have it not work out. I always overcome, right? And so maybe some affirmations like that, like where it's like, it's safe for me to be rejected. It's safe for me to date and be rejected. It's safe. I'm fine. I'm good. I'm valuable, right? It's safe for me to try new things and do things that are difficult. I'm fine. I'm good. I'm safe. I'm valuable, right? If you can kind of program your brain to get in that space where it's like, I'm okay with trying things and having it not work. I'm okay with failing and failing publicly. I'm okay, you know, with whatever it is, right? Whatever the fear is that's coming up for you. But I use a lot of affirmations. I'm going to show you guys this like sometime in the future, and it looks like totally woo, and it kind of is, but it really works. It's called EFT tapping. If you're having a lot of like fear come up, Google it on YouTube. It's like totally changed the game for me. But you say kind of affirmations that you're trying to reprogram into your brain, and then you tap on acupressure points while you say them. And there's something about that, and you guys know I love affirmations anyway, but there's something about the acupressure points that you tap while you're doing it. I feel like it sinks it into like a deeper level of your brain and your subconscious, and like they say it like gets into your nervous system because you're tapping these like neurological like acupressure points while you do it. But anyway, I'm gonna like lead you, I want to lead some like I don't know, like blogging, EFT things that we can do. And it looks like really weird because you have to like sit here and like tap on your face and like say, but I swear to God it works. So if you're having a lot of fear, try that. But also just know it's like, it's safe for you to try new things. It's safe for you to get it wrong. It's safe for you to mess up. It's safe, you know, for people not to like you, right? I've had like a lot of fear about that, about people not liking me online. It's safe for me to be online and have people not like me. It's safe for people not to like my emails. It's safe for people to be angry that I swear, right? It's like, it's all safe. It's all good. It's all fine. Like, I'm safe and good and fine. You know, it doesn't have anything to do with who I am as a person, right? And so it kind of separates you from like that failure, right? It's like, it's safe for me to try new things. Safe for me to fail. It's safe for me to date and be rejected. Like, I'm fine and good, right? I'm separate from that, right? It's always like, you're not your business. You're not your failure. You're not your failure. Your failure doesn't say anything about you, right? Your business doesn't say anything about you as a human being, as a person. And it's really hard as entrepreneurs. You know, people will launch a product and then if it doesn't take off or it fails, they feel like a failure. It's like, you're not a failure. You're not your business. Your business doesn't have anything to do with you, right? It doesn't have anything to do with who you are as a human being, who you are as a person, your value, your worth, nothing, right? It doesn't have anything to do with you. You're not your business, right? You're not your product. And it's the same thing with just trying new things and with failure, right? It's like, you're not your failure. Failure doesn't say anything about you. It doesn't mean anything about you. We love to tell stories like, I launched a product and no one bought it, so it's not good, and therefore my work's not good, and I'm not worthy, and I'm not good, and I'll never be successful. It's like, that's not the truth. That's just like a made up story you made up. It's like, that's just like an evil, gross, dark story that you're allowing to be in your brain, right? And I forgot where I was going with all this, but I feel like you guys get what I'm saying, right? Like, you know, you have to be really diligent in the stories that you tell about that, in the stories that you tell about failure, right? And like, if I set the categories up and it takes me a long time and it's hard for me and I'm not sure the exact right way to do it, that doesn't mean anything about me. It's like, you know, your brain could tell stories about that. I tried to set up categories and it took so long and it's so much easier for other people, but it's so hard for me and I have such a hard time with this and I'm never going to be able to do it because blah, blah, blah. And like, whatever. It's like that. I mean, that's just a story. And is it a helpful story, right? It's like, you know, your failure doesn't mean anything about you. It only means the meaning that you give it, right? Your struggle doesn't mean anything about you. It only means the meaning that you give it. So what meaning are you giving your struggle? What meaning are you giving your failure? What meaning are you giving being a business owner? All these different things, right? But a lot of this stuff you can shift. And I feel like I'm being like a little bit harsh, tough love, faith with you guys today. But it's really like, I mean it from an empowering place, because I lived my life in such a disempowered place for so long where I felt like I didn't get a say in who was around me. I just had whatever friends were around me, whoever would date me, whatever jobs I could get. I would just take whatever I could get, you know, because I didn't really believe that I deserved more. And I didn't really understand that I get a say in how life is and what life means, right? And when I started to figure that out, it was really empowering. So it's like, to me, I'm like being a little bit tough love where I'm like, is it hard? Like, is it that hard? Like, are you trying that hard? You know, it's like, but I mean it from an empowering place, because when I think about that, it makes me feel empowered, because it's like, I actually get to decide. I get to decide what this means, right? I get to decide what it means. Like, you know, is my niche oversaturated? Like, I don't know. I get to decide, because I'm the boss and I choose what this reality is, and I choose how I perceive things, and I choose the stories I tell, and I choose and I decide, and I'm the boss, right? And that to me is really empowering. So when I come on here and like rant at you guys, I'm challenging some of these stories you're saying, right? And I'm challenging some of the stuff that's coming up for you guys. And it's important that you do that for yourself, right? Challenge your stories, challenge your narratives. Ask yourself, like, is this the truth? I just wrote this in an email I sent out to my mental health like blog or whatever last night, but I always ask myself, like, is this the truth? Is this an undisputable fact? Could this hold up in a court of law? Could I write this in a scientific paper? Is this the truth, right? And if it's not the truth, is it helpful? Because if it's not the truth, it's just your perception, and you can shift your perception. And if it's not helpful, you should shift your perception, and it should be a priority, right? Because how you perceive things is the reality you live in. It is the reality that you live in. We live our realities in our minds, with our thoughts, in our bodies, with our feelings, right? which are all influenced by your perception. So a lot of your quality of life and the not just your quality, to tie it back to business, but like the success that you find in business, like how much you're able to overcome, how much crap you're able to tolerate, right? That's really what it feels like to be successful in business. It's like, how much crap can you tolerate and still be positive? That's like the key to success. It's like, can everything be hard? Can everything go wrong? Can everything be difficult? And can you still stand in feeling thankful and feeling good and feeling positive, even when everything is the worst? Like, that's what business is to me. It's like a real mindset game. It's like, really, like, can I do it, right? Can I withstand the stress and the struggle of learning new things over and over and over again, and doing things that are scary over and over and over again, and trying things and failing publicly and saying stupid things on the internet and having people be mean to you? Can you stand in all of that and feel good and happy and positive? Can you find the good in it, right? And are you able to do that over and over and over again? And that's why I love business so much, right? It's not like, I mean, that's what business is to me, like, because I just love the mindset stuff so much. And it's helped my entire life, like, because the way that I'm able to do that in my business has made all of my relationships better. It's made everything in my life easier, right? And it's worth it, right? It's just worth it to me to do this mindset work, and it will help you in every area of your life, because it's not just business where we tell bullshit stories, right? We tell stupid stories about lots of different areas of our life, about relationships, about partnerships, about jobs, about careers, about our health and fitness, about whatever, right? Whatever it is that's holding you back. I always tell people, I'm like, whatever area of your life feels hard is probably where you have the most mindset work to do. You're probably telling a crappy story, right? If your health isn't doing well, if you hate your job, if you like don't have good friends, or if you're having a hard time dating and being single sucks, whatever area of your life is like kind of the area that's not working, is probably the area where you are telling the most crappy stories and the most crappy narratives. And that's how potent and real your mindset is to your reality, right? It has a direct like line of impact on it. So that's it. That's my rant for the day. This was a very ranty rant. Let me know how you guys are. Let me know if this was helpful. Let me know if you guys ever need clarity. If I say something and you're just like, what is she talking about? Let me know. A lot of the stuff I talk to you guys about is, it's just abstract ideas and things I think about, but I don't know if they make any sense to anyone else. And I'm happy to explain things further, or like try to re-explain something if it doesn't make sense. I'm here to help you. I want so much for you to find success. And I was telling someone the other day, I was like, man, I remember when I started, I would think like, is this going to be worth it, right? Because I've worked so hard, and I was like, I don't know if it'll ever pay off. But man, let me tell you, I'm on vacation with my family working. Right now I'm working, kind of. I feel like I'm more talking to you guys as my friends, but but I just love like being able to work from anywhere and being able to decide when I work. Like, I got up this morning and I like went for a kayak ride, and then I came back and I like wrote some emails, and then I went for a walk with my mom and came back, and then I like did some more work. And the freedom and the creativity and just the blessings that this business gives me every single day would have been, it's worth so much more work than I put into it. It's worth so much more struggle and so much more work and so much more everything than I had to go through to get here. It's so worth it to me. I'm so much happier and more fulfilled than I ever could have been in any other capacity. There's just no way that I could find the kind of joy and happiness and blessings that I have in my life without creating the business that I created. And to me, it's worth everything. So just know, if you're struggling, if you have that thought, like where you're like, man, like, is this going to be worth it? Just know that it is. And it's safe for you to believe that it's all going to pay off. It's safe for you to believe that you will be successful. It's safe for you to believe everything's working in your favor. It's safe for you to believe it's already happening. The success is already happening, right? This is another thing I've been stepping into. It's like, I'm like, people are like, oh my gosh, I'm sorry your partnership failed. And it's like, ugh. And I'm like, it's okay. Like, he's not my right person. And I know my right person is already on the way. And he's coming at the perfect time. And I know he's already coming. It's already done, right? And you can do that with business, where you're like, my success is already coming. It's already done. It's already on its way. It's already coming, right? I just have to stay the course, right? That's one of my affirmations too. It's like, well, I swear a lot. You guys know that. So it's like, stay the mother effing course. That's my, like, one of my favorite affirmations. So anyway, okay, God, I could talk forever. I thought I was gonna come on here for like 10 minutes. I love you guys. I'll talk to you soon.